Hey, how's it going, Internet? It's Nathan from This and That Tech. Today we were taking a look at a game called Narcosis, which was recently released for the PS4 and Xbox One. It was previously released for the PC back in 2017 on VR, and now it's available on all consoles except for the Switch. So what's the game about? The crew of the Oceanova is mining methane at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. You play as one of the industrial divers who's suddenly trapped after an explosion separates you from the rest of the crew. It reminds me a bit of The Abyss in terms of the setting, and if you didn't see The Abyss back at the end of the 80s, I believe it was like 89 or so, James Cameron directed this movie that was integral to sci-fi. You should probably go watch it. It's pretty good. I would define Narcosis as a horror walking simulator. You're always in this deep diving suit and you're at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. You have the sense of claustrophobia at all times because you're always encompassed by water, even when you're inside structures. Movement, as you may expect, is slow and plodding in water, so that's going to add tension to the atmosphere. It feels very much like you're walking around in a mech suit. You have the ability to slightly turn your head inside the suit, which allows you to see some of your important HUD features like your next goal, amount of flares, and oxygen meter. The oxygen mechanic is fairly obvious. There's a percentage meter inside your suit that slowly decreases over time from 100, but it can and will quickly diminish if the character is under extreme stress. There's these various oxygen stations scattered throughout the landscape, so it's something you constantly have to manage, although I do not believe I ever actually ran out of oxygen once, thanks to the thrusters. Your suit comes equipped with thrusters that quickly propel the player across chasms, or you can even quickly escape various landscapes in Narcosis. These thrusters have a small cooldown after each use, so you have to use it sparingly. Now, as far as self-defense, you only have two options. Either a small knife or flares. The flares are used to mainly distract enemies while you escape, but they can also be used to illuminate your surroundings, giving you a chance to mitigate some of the paranoia. This game isn't about fighting, it's about the ambiance in the room, the terror of being trapped. And the knife, it isn't much to look at. You can use it to melee swing at anything that tries to eat your face, but that's about it. It's certainly wonky to swing underwater, and it doesn't feel very effective. So think maybe of a clunky Skyrim combat here, but at least you got something to defend yourself with. Again, don't expect a speedy combat system. You're going to be vastly overpowered and literally waving your arms underwater. There isn't too much in the way of exploration indicators, but you can usually figure out where to go next from just looking at small pathways that seem to go deeper and deeper. If you do venture too far off the path, you're going to be greeted with a quick death when you fall into the dark depths of the ocean. Your glass encasing starts to crack. It's very sad and terrible. However, if you're on the correct path, you're going to hear these narrative audio cues, which, stellar voice acting, by the way. It's going to start playing, and you're basically supposed to surmise from that you're going in the right direction.
So I did. Thought about giving up. With that much time to think about nothing. Just about anyone would. Thing is,
Your interactions with humans is going to be very scarce. You're either going to overhear them on comms or quite literally stumble across their body. And as you probably expect, there's going to be some casualties due to the explosion. So it's your job to find these bodies, get their IDs in order to take them to the surface. The IDs, I mean, not the bodies. After you find a body, you can go into your HUD and read further about the various crew members, which adds some weight to the story. Oddly enough, even though the setting felt more alive with dead crew members in front of me, it took some of the fear and isolation out of the game. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though, as I was more interested in the story than having a panic attack. There's also little items hidden throughout that are associated with each crew member, further giving information on their backstories. Now, Narcosis originally came out in 2017 for PC, and I can imagine it was a really great fit for VR. For this review, I was playing it on the PS4 screen, though. The jump scares can be a bit hokey at times, but there's a few that will get you. especially as your character is completely capable of hallucinations because he may or may not be losing his sanity the entire time he's down there. The best way to play without VR, in my opinion, is certainly with headphones or with surround sound on. A lot of care was taken into creating an atmosphere that leaves you uneasy as you peek around corners and traverse dark corridors, all while hearing odd noises from creatures in the darkness. The graphics of Narcosis aren't going to wow you, but they are serviceable. The surroundings are acceptable, but there's this lack of graphical fidelity, which is the most notable when zoomed in on a crew member or sea creature. Again, there was one moment right at the beginning, very hokey. A guy was in my face, and it was a little off-putting, but it's fine. It's serviceable. It works. I do want to say, though, I thought it was a nice touch to see the breathing inside the suit, which slightly fogs up the glass as you inhale and exhale. Very nice touch. As far as pacing, I got through this game in about 4 hours. It's not very difficult. For the most part, you can figure out where to go next. It's a walking simulator. There are some frustrating moments where you can get thrown off, especially near the end. There's like a stealth part and solve a password puzzle that's kind of annoying. You just go in circles over and over. You feel yourself getting a little motion sick. And there's a couple areas too where it's not completely clear where there's even a path. I don't know if that's necessarily fun to explore those type of areas, but once you figure it out, you just keep on speeding through. So is it fun? Look, Narcosis is fun and serviceable as a walking simulator. It's not going to set the world on fire, but there's entertainment to be had here, and I respect the idea behind it. So, recommendation-wise, if somebody were to ask me whether or not they should get it, I would say two things. Do you like horror games, and do you like walking simulators? The only other thing I would mention is right now it's $19.99 on PSN and the Xbox Store as well as Steam. I think that's a little bit salty, but 10 to 15 bones seems more accurate to me, but if you got the coin to spend, doesn't matter anyway. So that's it. That's the review. If you would please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.